My foul-mouthed boss turns out to be my online boyfriend. He was yelling at me, calling me names like a pig in a gutter. But I didn't care. I just turned away silently, took out my phone, and texted my online boyfriend to break up. Babe, that old jerk yelled at me again today. He said my head was full of stupid ideas, but clearly my mind is only filled with you. Let's just break up. I guess he's right. Because my head is only filled with you, I keep making mistakes at work. A message from my boyfriend quickly arrived, full of anger and sadness. What? That old man yelled at you again? No, don't. My love, I don't want to break up. It's all his fault. You don't have to work there anymore. Come to my company. I'm a good boss. I'd never scold you. That stingy old man, old and ugly, useless at everything, yet he dares to scold my darling. Old but doesn't know how to enjoy life, just goes out to annoy people. Truly, an old man who doesn't die is just a poisonous tree. Oh, my little love, how old is your boss anyway? I typed each word slowly to reply, 28. The other side suddenly fell silent. To get revenge on my constantly scolding boss, I had been secretly dating him online for half a year. Every time he yelled at me, I would text him to break up, using work pressure as an excuse for not being able to balance love and career, driving him crazy. After being unexpectedly dumped a few times, he became anxious and insecure. Before, he had wanted to meet many times, but I always refused with different excuses. He thought the instability in our relationship was due to a lack of real-life interaction. Today, he texted me again, asking to meet. My love, are you up for work yet? My love, when will we meet in real life? I really want to see you. Blush asterisk. I've booked a table at a very nice Western restaurant. Shall we go on a date this weekend? Can we? Sends a cute sticker asterisk. How adorable. I felt goosebumps, shivered as if possessed. No one could imagine the arrogant and cold boss everyone knew would become so vulnerable and clingy when in love, and then cry and make a scene when broken up with. I was about to type a few lines to respond when my assistant came to announce a meeting. In the meeting room, everyone sat upright. No one dared to breathe heavily. Charles sat at the head of the table, his face cold, eyes dark, looking haggard. He clearly hadn't slept last night. And that was because I had broken up with him again last night, making him cry and fuss, refusing to let go. After a night of my torment, he finally, reluctantly agreed not to break up after hours of silence. Perhaps fearing I'd change my mind, he was now desperately asking to meet again. I thought that after yesterday's drama, he wouldn't have the energy to criticize anyone. Yet, looking at his tired face today, it seemed someone was definitely about to be in trouble. Charles's sharp gaze swept across the room, finally stopping at me, and then he slammed a stack of documents onto the table. How annoying, it's always just me. I took a deep breath, knowing what he meant, and stood up, walking to stand before the difficult boss. The shiny floor reflected my image, both incompetent and pitiful. Charles squinted at me, a cold smile on his face. Why are you bowing your head so low? Are you ashamed? The previous project was your responsibility, wasn't it, Jane? Why are you still stuck in one place? Don't you have any initiative or ability to make your own decisions? You dare bring anything to me for approval. Do you think my office is a dump? I'm not wrong to scold you for this, am I? His criticism hadn't changed, leaving me no escape. I bit my tongue, not saying a word. This debt isn't unpaid, it's just not yet time. Just wait. Finally, Charles pointed at the documents on the table, then at my head. What exactly is in your head? Even a ghost would shake its head and walk away. A starving ghost has better eyesight. I'll let it slide this time, but don't think you're important next time. Although I had prepared myself, I still felt my face burn with humiliation. At the end of the meeting, Liam approached me, looking apologetic. Jane, I'm sorry. This plan was my responsibility. I must have made a mistake, causing you to be terribly reprimanded. To be precise, I was mainly scolded because of his mistake. I should have scolded him back to vent my anger. But in the end, I just sighed and waved my hand. Go redo it. If it's still not better next time, I won't be able to help you. Let's not make things difficult for each other. His foolish and timid demeanor reminded me of myself when I first started working. I still remember that year. Because a plan was revised multiple times, I was eventually scolded by Charles until I burst into tears in the office. I even accidentally saw a critical post he put online to mock me. I don't know where the company finds so many talented people. I'm going crazy. The accompanying picture was just a shiny red wooden table, nothing special. But I immediately recognized it as Charles's desk, because I saw the familiar small golden corner of the gilded unicorn he kept on his table. When being scolded, I tried to hold back tears but stared blankly at that unicorn as if hypnotized. Then my eyes were drawn to his fair hands with prominent knuckles. I don't clearly remember what else he scolded me about afterward, only remembering his parting words. "Don't call me boss. I don't have employees this stupid. Outside, don't say you work at my company. It's truly embarrassing." It was surprising that after scolding me, he still wasn't satisfied and continued to criticize me online. The more I thought, the angrier I got, and a dark revenge plan began to form in my head. Charles was truly asking for trouble by provoking someone as petty and long-remembering as me. He was born into a wealthy family, handsome, and had a smooth life from childhood to adulthood. Of course, he couldn't understand the malice in people's hearts. So, experiencing a little heartache in love wouldn't be unfair at all. I immediately sent him a private message. "Hi, can we be friends and chat? I'm so bored, I want to find someone to talk to when I'm free at work." He responded coldly, not bothering to reply. I didn't care, I just saw him as a place to vent my emotions. Every day I sent messages telling him about strange things at work, sharing trivial matters. He didn't reply, nor did he block me. Finally, thanks to my relentless persistence, he occasionally started replying a few sentences, though still acting cold. I sensed that I had begun to affect him. After more than 2 months without missing a single day, I decided to suddenly stop contacting him. I wanted to see if he would text me. Indeed, on the very first day I didn't contact him, I received a message. "Busy today?" I saw the message but deliberately didn't reply. A moment later, messages poured in. "Where are you? Where are you? Did you find someone else? Don't find anyone else. Can I be your chat friend? Come back quickly. Today at work I heard everyone call me Charles the Mud Puddle. Boo-hoo, and they said someone like you would be single even at 40. He started sharing about his work. I almost laughed my lungs out because I was also in the group chat that day. Unexpectedly, when I turned around, I saw Charles standing silently at the door. His face devoid of emotion, he said coldly, "Nothing to do, too much free time, right?" Everyone panicked and scattered. I thought he didn't hear anything, but in fact, he was paying very close attention. After laughing to my heart's content, I slowly typed each line to reply. "I was really busy today. You rarely replied to me. I thought you found me annoying. How could they talk about you like that? That's so unfair." Finally, we officially became friends and then started dating. What surprised me was that Charles was a genuine love-struck fool, clingy, easily manipulated, and extremely proactive. Compared to the arrogant CEO at the company, it was like two completely different people. If he hadn't revealed his real name and information that perfectly matched, I would have thought I had fallen in love with the wrong person. As soon as I returned to my seat, Charles's message arrived. "My love, are you busy? Why aren't you replying to me? My love, reply quickly. Let's meet in person this weekend." I smiled. He probably forgot he had just yelled at me in the meeting room. Initially, I just wanted to send a few perfunctory messages, but after being reprimanded by him like that, I thought I should demand a little fairness. I typed rapidly like a storm. "Today that old man yelled at me again. He said my head was full of silly thoughts. However, clearly, I was still thinking about you. Let's break up. I think what he said is true. Because my head is only filled with you, I often make mistakes." Charles replied very quickly, both angry and annoyed. "What, that damned old man yelled at you again? No, I don't want to break up. Why, it's all that old man's fault. Babe, you shouldn't work there anymore. Come to my company, I'm a good boss, I'll never scold you. That old man is old and useless, and he dares to bully my darling. Old and still so loud-mouthed, don't let his stench get near my babe. That old man won't stay home and rest, he runs out to harm others. He's a menace alive." Undeniably, Charles's attacks were indeed very powerful. He scolded my boss even more fiercely than I did. The reason was that every time I was scolded, I would threaten to break up with him. As time went on, his psychology became easily vulnerable. Every time my boss was mentioned, his face would darken as if he wanted to deal with him immediately. "Oh, by the way, babe, how old is your boss this year?" After a long tirade, he curiously asked about my boss's age. I slowly typed 28. The other end fell silent. I called him old man every day, so he probably thought my boss was over 40 or 50. A moment later, Charles sent 2 voice messages, his voice sad and slightly trembling. Babe, you know what? I'm 28 too. Is 28 old? I didn't need to comfort him. I replied bluntly. What do you think? Everyone knows men over 25 are like they've stepped into 65. He typed his message with trembling hands. So what about 28? 28? If not 88, then 78. Definitely impotent, probably smells old. Loose ass, farts loudly, useless, you said it yourself. No, no, my love, that was me scolding him, not me. I'll prove it to you. Overly excited, he immediately sent several shirtless pictures of his six-pack from various angles. Not stopping there, he even took a few close-up selfies. Although from any angle he was still strikingly handsome, with sharp facial features, his eyes both cold and sad, only slightly red. The impotent one is your boss, the old-smelling one is your boss, the useless one is your boss. I'm different, I'm perfect inside and out, from my face to my health. At least 2 hours of stamina. I both laughed and saved all the photos. Who says long is good? If it's too long, there's a problem, you should get it checked. Charles completely collapsed. So tell me, what do I have to be like in the end? You're so selfish, you don't care about me anymore. I'm angry, there's no way to appease me. Now you realize the serious consequences, right? Even an apology won't work. From now on, I won't be easy on you. Otherwise, I'll turn into a dog. Less than 10 minutes after saying that, he texted again. Babe, it's been 9 minutes and you haven't appeased me. How can you be so heartless? Have you ever been addicted? It's weird if you don't get addicted looking at me. Woof woof. Master, your dog is here to appease you. This guy is truly annoying to death. He's already over his anger. Temporarily blocked him, turned off my phone, and continued to focus on work. After several hours of work, it was finally time to go home. Liam came to ask me about the final revised plan, and within minutes, the entire office had become empty. I opened my phone, a new message from Charles. Babe, I'm off work, are you done? Liam stood next to me waiting for the elevator, awkwardly saying, Jane, thank you so much, I really didn't know anything. If you hadn't guided me, I would have been fired. When you're free, let me treat you to a meal. I waved my hand, no need, I'm the team leader, helping you is my responsibility. Everyone fresh out of school is like this, you'll learn eventually. Just as I finished speaking, the elevator opened. Charles was standing inside. His eyes swept over me and Liam. Study hard, lest you drag the whole team down. Then he added, you too, team leader Jane, very high damage, total humiliation. I almost choked with anger. He was still cold and scolding even me. His presence made the atmosphere suffocating. Liam stood ramrod straight with tension. Luckily, Charles didn't say anything more. He looked coldly at his phone, not bothering to look at anyone. The elevator reached the ground floor. Liam was clearly closest to the door but didn't step out. Instead, he politely turned to make way. CEO Charles, please go first. Charles lifted his head, narrowed his eyes, and his voice deepened. Do I look very old? Liam lost his composure and stammered. Aren't you old? I almost burst out laughing. Charles absolutely hated being called old, saying that was like stepping on a landmine. This kid truly didn't know how to value his life. I had reminded Liam to learn how to communicate and observe his superior's expressions. I didn't expect him to land himself in such a difficult situation. Charles's face darkened and he said nothing. Liam looked at me in a panic, pleading for help. I forced a smile. Oh, who says you're old? CEO Charles, you're young, talented, brilliant, exceptionally handsome. 18-year-old boys can't compare. I tried to praise him in a way that would impress him more. He didn't even look at me, saying coldly, Team leader Jane's abilities are just ordinary, but her flattery is top-notch. How could anyone be so difficult? Say he's old, he's unhappy. Compliment him, he says it's flattery. A dog barking sounds better when he talks. I was being sincere. Anyway, employees in the company often called him Old Charles behind his back. I angrily pulled Liam out of the elevator, worried that staying a few more seconds would lead to an explosion. Outside the lobby, I finally let go of Liam's sleeve and looked at him. Idiot. He's going to get his car from the basement, he doesn't take the subway like us, and in the future, you must never call him old again. Liam nodded gratefully. Jane, I'm lucky to have you. My anger still hadn't subsided, and messages from Charles kept coming. Babe, what are you doing? Have you gotten home yet? Why aren't you paying attention to me anymore? Babe, are you upset again? Are you scared of being bullied by that heartless boss again? Furious. Babe, don't work there anymore. Come to my place, I'll protect you, no one will dare to make you sad. Humph, he really doesn't know his place. He knows I'm angry but still dares to text and ask. He's the very reason I'm angry. Clearly, he's the same person, yet why is he so different in person and online? I was furious and started typing a message. What? Don't you scold employees? I do, but babe, you're different from them. You're so smart, how could I bear to scold you? Humph, don't lie, he's the one who scolded me the worst. Babes, don't be angry anymore, don't mind that old boss. Look at me. Fearing I would get angry and threaten to break up, he immediately sent me a video to divert my attention. Babe, good girl, don't be angry, okay? In the video, he was only wearing gray pajama bottoms, no shirt, leaning close to the camera, his voice soft as if coaxing me. Perhaps he had just showered. His skin was glistening, flushed, and drops of water ran down his abdomen, wetting the top of his pants. Did he shower while texting me and then deliberately record such a video to attract me? Damn it, but I found it amusing. My anger hadn't subsided, but it had been diverted. Is that all? Are you trying to tempt me with these pictures? He understood and immediately sent a few new pictures, showing off his abs from various angles. There was even a top-down shot, intentionally pulling his pants down low to reveal the prominent veins in his groin area. Clearly, blood circulation was excellent. Everyone knows where it was flowing. Babe, do you like what you see? No. I replied firmly, but secretly saved all the pictures to my phone. The next morning, I arrived at work just in time. When I saw Charles's figure, I pretended not to see him, rushed straight into the elevator and pressed the close button. Just as the elevator doors were about to shut, a pair of shiny black leather shoes, looking very luxurious, slipped in to hold the door open. Charles looked at me with cold eyes, his lips curled in a smile that held no joy. It seems team leader Jane isn't happy with me, is she? I scratched my hand, flustered. No, CEO Charles, I didn't see you just now. He turned his face away, not bothering to look at me anymore, his voice cold. If your eyesight isn't good, you should buy more glasses. On the outside, I nodded and flattered, but inside, I was constantly annoyed. Couldn't he tell I was intentionally avoiding him? He really didn't know how to take a hint, and every time he opened his mouth, he made others want to hit him. Truly outrageous. The company had just taken on several new projects, and the workload increased dramatically. I was extremely busy all morning, with no time to go online and mess with Charles. The old projects were still stagnant, and colleagues around me were successively called up to the office. Those who went in came out with red eyes, those who came out had ashen faces, and some hastily packed their belongings and left without a word. Rumor had it that Charles had thrown a fit and immediately fired them. I sat at my desk feeling anxious. What if I was next? I didn't want to quit at all. Charles was indeed sharp-tongued and difficult, but he was always fair in rewards and punishments. Most importantly, the salary was significantly higher. There was usually a large bonus at the end of the year, and weekends were off. The six-figure monthly salary made anyone envious. If I quit here, where would I find such benefits? I was compiling a report and silently praying when the assistant appeared. Team leader Jane, the CEO wants you upstairs. I immediately felt my head spin, and my face went pale. In the CEO's office, Charles sat in his chair, arms crossed, looking at me with a half-smile. Team leader Jane, why are you so tense? Is something bothering you? I shook my head, my face pale, awaiting his wrath and the invitation to resign. Unexpectedly, he just gently pushed a stack of documents towards me. David's project, you take over. David was the person he had fired this morning. I looked up in surprise. Charles just glanced at me, his tone cold. I'm giving you 1 week. If you don't complete it, pack your bags and leave. Oh, yesterday you criticized me for having mediocre abilities, and today you're giving me this mess? That proves you still believe in my abilities. I immediately smiled radiantly. Yes, CEO Charles, no problem. Breathing a sigh of relief, I returned to my desk. As soon as I opened my phone, I saw the company group chat was buzzing. Everyone was mocking Charles the mud puddle, saying his mouth must be poisoned. He said my abilities are the new limit of limits, makes me want to cry. Miss, one of the people scolded today, was crying and sharing. Can no one control him? Yes, I heard the boss has a girlfriend. What, really? Someone like him has a girlfriend? Who dares manage their boss? Yes, I heard his girlfriend is often temperamental, threatens to break up at the slightest thing. He doesn't get angry, but cries and begs like he's dying. Everyone was shocked. CEO Charles cries, begs, unbelievable, must be that kind of brain-damaged love. One time I saw his eyes red, sending messages saying, "Babe, why aren't you replying?" I almost fainted. He must be possessed, not a normal person anymore. He's so strict with us. His girlfriend is twice as strict. Torture. I was the retribution they were talking about, but why did that man lose face and I feel embarrassed? This was the first time the company group was so relaxed, and I couldn't participate. I just dared to silently observe and scroll through. Finally, the weekend arrived. Fearing sudden dismissal, I copied the project data to my computer to work from home. While I was concentrating on work, an ill-mannered person suddenly appeared. "My love, what are you doing? Go away. If you bother me again, I'll block you immediately." My weekend was ruined. I wasn't in the mood to joke around with him. "My love is so fierce, isn't she? Just appease me and I'll forgive you immediately." He sent a voice message, his voice sounding very wronged. When he saw I didn't reply, he continued his attack. "Babe, I'm about to take a bath. I'm so scared bathing alone." He even sent a "come hither" sticker, which made me feel frightened. I angrily replied, "I don't have time to watch those things." I pressed send. After sending, I immediately regretted it and quickly recalled the message, wondering why I was like this, but then still texted, "Turn on video, it's okay, I'm here." Just saying that, but it would be a waste not to watch. As soon as the message was sent, a video call came through. I confirmed the camera was off before daring to answer. On the other end, Charles stood in the bathroom, smiling. "Oh, not busy," but answered so quickly. My face flushed. I was annoyed but didn't know how to react, so I just gritted my teeth and said, "I'm just worried about you. Are you bathing or not? If not, hang up, don't waste my time." I deliberately lowered my voice, afraid he would recognize my true voice. "Bathing, bathing, bathing, my love can supervise me." He placed his phone on a stand, adjusted the camera angle, and began taking off his shirt. The video only showed him from the waist up. His every action was very careful. Hot water running, shower gel, creating foam, the space filled with steam, his fair skin glowing brightly amidst the white foam, his toned abdominal muscles flexing. The hot scene made me feel breathless. It had been a long time since I felt such a rush of blood to my head. The last time was probably when I watched a movie about the anti-Japanese war. Charles intentionally showed off every angle of his deadly handsomeness. "My love, are you drooling?" "No, you misheard," I replied, but couldn't help adding, "Bathe thoroughly. If you don't know where, ask me." As soon as I finished speaking, Charles's eyes suddenly darkened. He bent down and smiled softly, his voice seemingly choked. Then he unexpectedly turned his back. In less than 5 minutes, the screen began to blur due to steam. I frowned and wiped my glasses. "It's blurry now." He hesitated for a moment, shook his wet hair dry, and finally reached for his phone. Unexpectedly, his wet hand dropped the phone and the camera flipped, recording from his feet upwards, showing a full, uncovered view. I saw something I had never seen in my life. Charles panicked, bent down to cover the camera, yelling, "My love, don't look." But it was too late. My nose was bleeding. The visual shock that night was terrible. Monday morning, I was still like a zombie, drifting through the entire day. Charles, however, didn't give up easily, constantly texting to demand a meeting. "I'm a traditional and conservative man. Anyone who has seen my body must take responsibility for me." I didn't know what to say. Traditional, yet he tempted me with a video call while bathing. If I had known, I wouldn't have watched. "You need to give me a clear explanation. You saw everything. When will we meet?" "Are you really planning to leave?" I had no choice but to use my old excuse. "I'm very busy these days and I'm not ready to face you." But this time, Charles wasn't fooled. That excuse again. "My love, you're not playing with me, are you?" My heart tightened. Could he have found out? I asked uncertainly. "Why do you think that?" After a long pause, he replied, "You don't want to meet and you don't want to appear. When I invited you to move to a better position, you also refused. When I transferred money to you, you didn't accept. Are you worried that it will be difficult to cut ties with me later? Are you just trying to have fun?" I sat there dumbfounded, feeling like everything was going off track. He wasn't as easygoing as before. I began to regret it. I shouldn't have caused trouble. Now I couldn't retreat, nor could I advance. I bit my lip, trying to reassure him. "No, it's not like that. I'm just worried that if we meet, I won't be what you imagined and you'll be disappointed, you'll dislike me." After sending the message, I waited in silence for his response. But Charles didn't reply. I sat motionless, my heart full of turmoil. On one hand, I hoped he would reject me himself so I wouldn't have to figure out how to stay away. On the other hand, I also felt a little dejected. I stood up and went down to the pantry to make coffee, my mind still racing with thoughts. Finally, unable to control myself, I opened my phone to check. Charles had sent 2 voice messages 3 minutes ago. I was a little startled, my heart pounding. Just as I was about to press play, the pantry door opened. Charles walked in, holding a ceramic mug, moving slowly. I heard the assistant is off today and the coffee machine upstairs is also broken. I unexpectedly put my phone away, but my hands trembled, and I accidentally dropped the phone into the trash can beside me. It landed right on the unheard voice message. "No, my love, how could I hate you? No matter what you're like, I'll like it." His voice was full of sincerity and emotion. Although the volume wasn't loud, in the silent space it echoed very clearly. My face turned pale. I felt a buzzing in my head. The coffee in my hand spilled onto the floor, but I didn't notice, only hastily reached for my phone. Just in time before the second voice message automatically played, I pressed the screen off. But it was too late. I looked up and met Charles's eyes. He stood frozen in place, his face changing colors like a traffic light, green, red, yellow, red. No one said a word. The space was filled with silence. He and I faced each other, eyes meeting. I knew I was done for. Everything around us was silent. Time seemed to stop. "Someone please tell me who I am, where I am, and what I should do now." The two of them stood facing each other without saying a word, as still as statues. Finally, I couldn't bear it and broke the silence myself. "CEO Charles, what a coincidence, also coming down for coffee." I intended to pretend to be clueless and leave quietly. As I bent down to leave, he stopped me. His voice was unclear whether happy or sad. "Team leader Jane, nothing to explain?" I forced a smile. "Please let go of my hand first." Online, I was bold, but in real life, I was timid. Charles stared at me, his eyes deep like an abyss. He hesitated for a moment, then finally let go of my hand. I immediately turned and ran straight back to my desk as if being chased by a ghost. I felt like I had just come back to life. Out of fear, Charles didn't chase me. He continued to make coffee, said nothing, and then returned to his office upstairs. But I knew that if I escaped today, I couldn't escape tomorrow. He would definitely call me in to settle the score. All afternoon, I felt anxious. With such a cold and bitter personality, if he knew I had been playing games with him all this time, it would be strange if I wasn't dealt with. I opened the chat window and reread our conversation, stopping at the last two voice messages. Normally, when I was silent, he would text me frantically, "My love, why aren't you replying? What are you doing, my love? Do you still love me, my love?" But now there wasn't a single word. I felt empty, my heart hollow. I pressed play on the unheard voice message. "My love, trust me, just give me one more chance." I closed my eyes. "No need." I pressed block, then opened my laptop and submitted my resignation. As a result, my resignation was rejected by him. With no other option, I had to go to his office to confront him. The atmosphere in the enclosed room felt off. I stood still, feeling uncomfortable all over. Suddenly, I didn't know how to face him. Charles let out a cold laugh, gritting his teeth. "So, the cruel, scolding old boss you mentioned, that's me?" I remained silent, a wave of guilt washing over me, not daring to look up. He stood up abruptly and advanced towards me, each step as if to back me against the wall. "Am I an old man? Am I weak? Do I fail at everything? Am I impotent, old, useless?" I immediately waved my hands, clearly irritated. "Those were your own words, they have nothing to do with me." He was silent. Perhaps he had no way to refute me. I seized the opportunity to speak, my voice slightly trembling. "Why didn't you approve my resignation? Give me a reasonable reason." Charles looked at me with sad eyes, his tone cold. It was clear he was trying to remain calm. It was obvious I had been playing with him. He tried to hold it in, hoping I would explain myself, but instead I said nothing, blocked him, and submitted my resignation. He was truly furious. Even if it was a joke, he still accepted it. But was I just going to play and then leave without taking responsibility? I was a little surprised. I didn't expect him to need a reason. The reason was already clear. I knew my place and voluntarily withdrew. Nothing could be better. I didn't even ask for severance pay. Although he didn't fire me, I was worried about retaliation, afraid of being made difficult. But seeing his eyes red with anger, I didn't dare to tell him the truth, afraid of making him even angrier. "The project you assigned me, I don't think I can finish it in a week, so I voluntarily resigned." The reason sounded very plausible. After hearing it, Charles's face seemed to soften. He cleared his throat lightly, and his voice became gentler. "If you can't finish, then don't. It's nothing serious. It's a small matter, no need to resign, right?" Why was he suddenly so kind? Before, if you didn't finish something, you were immediately fired. The company didn't keep useless people. Was this really the Charles I knew? I was a little suspicious. Maybe this was a new trick to relax me and then stab me in the back. I cautiously asked, "But I don't have initiative or decision-making ability, and my work ability is only average. I shouldn't overestimate myself. I don't feel competent enough for this position." Every sentence was something he had once said. I repeated each word. Is that enough? As soon as I finished, I realized there was a problem. It sounded sarcastic, as if I was intentionally mocking him. I assure you I had no such intention, and even if I did, I wouldn't dare show it in front of him. Charles, he definitely thought I was being sarcastic. He mumbled, "She really remembers things." Then he cleared his throat, his expression looking unnatural. I was wrong before, I was too harsh. I apologize, I didn't recognize your abilities. Actually, you do very well. You have many other potentials. Please stay, I'll give you a raise, as much as you want. If you need anything, just say it. If you're dissatisfied with me, I will change. I looked at him in astonishment. What was this? Not only was he not angry, but he was apologizing, admitting he was wrong, complimenting me, and wanting to give me a raise. While I was still in shock, Charles suddenly changed his tone. So why did you block me? You played with me but won't accept. You don't want to consider me your boyfriend? Are you going to avoid responsibility? You've seen my body. Do you despise me for that? The last sentence was spoken with a resentful and serious tone. His eyes were red, looking at me as if I was a betrayer. Wait, why did it suddenly switch to that asterisk topic? How dare he say it so directly? My face turned red and I stammered, "So what do you want? Unblock me?" I didn't dare to hesitate, afraid he would say something even more uncomfortable, and immediately pulled out my phone right there and unblocked him. At this point, there was no turning back. I had been led on. Charles immediately brightened. He hummed softly, "That's better." He looked at me with sparkling eyes. "Tonight, remember to wait for me, my love." Now he was calling me my love. Before, he used to call me Jane Tran, or Team Leader Jane, coldly, and now he was calling me Sweet Love. I suddenly felt a little embarrassed. Charles had always either scolded me as Jane Tran or called me Team Leader Jane, coldly. This was the first time I heard him call me my love like that. It felt a bit strange. I glanced at him, his gaze serious, his face calm, exactly like baby Charles in the messages. I suddenly felt a little less awkward. To prevent colleagues from discovering the relationship between Charles and me, fearing they would feel tense or awkward, I asked him to keep it a secret. Although he wasn't happy, he didn't object. The next morning in the meeting, Charles sat in the chairman's seat, staring at me with sad eyes like a ghost. I was worried that colleagues would notice something, so I took out my phone to send a warning message. "What's wrong with you? Don't you want everyone to notice?" I even deliberately signaled for him to pay attention to his phone. As a result, he completely ignored it and continued to stare at me. Liam whispered in my ear, his voice full of worry, "Jane, are you going to get scolded again? The boss keeps looking at you." Charles suddenly spoke in a cold voice, "Team Leader Jane, come to my office later." All my colleagues' eyes immediately turned to me, full of sympathy and pity. As soon as I walked into the office, Charles had completely changed. He was no longer cold as in the meeting, but his eyes were red and his voice was pathetic. "My love, how much longer do we have to sneak around? Am I someone who can't be revealed? Dating me is like being a traitor, always hiding." After I was frank with him, his attitude had completely changed. He was no longer a difficult boss, but more like a big, clingy puppy to me. Actually, this kind of behavior made me a bit uncomfortable. "It's only temporary," I said with a guilty feeling, indeed like a timid girl. If colleagues knew about my relationship with him, who would dare to comfortably discuss or criticize the boss with me anymore? Perhaps they would even avoid me whenever something happened. Charles immediately switched to a sulky expression, his voice clearly jealous. "I knew it, you probably think I'm old, right? You still call me old man." "An old man with a loose ass, useless, right? Now you have a younger guy beside you, so close, of course I've become old news." He even mimicked Liam's voice. Oh, Team Leader Jane, constantly calling your name, smiling like that, looking at you in such a way. It was then that I realized he was truly jealous. Liam had just joined the company as an intern whom I directly mentored. Being close was normal, not to the extent of being considered ambiguous. I was really surprised. Was he jealous about this too? "Liam is just an intern. Didn't you initially assign him to me to mentor?" Charles's face suddenly darkened and he said nothing. He abruptly asked, "So, did my love really say I'm strong and healthy and 18-year-olds can't compare?" I was furious. That's too much. Did he forget he had called me good at flattery? Of course it was a lie. I was flattering you. Who praises without reason? Maybe you really are impotent. His face turned red, he choked, but still argued. But that day you saw clearly I was obviously not weak. I just smirked and replied casually, "My eyes are nearsighted and I wasn't wearing my glasses, so maybe I saw wrong. Looking good doesn't mean it's good." Charles mumbled, "My love, why do you remember things for so long?" Then, shamelessly, he continued, "Babe, I'm both handsome and capable. I can prove it to you. If you don't believe me, you can try touching." He was overly enthusiastic. I felt embarrassed even leaving the room. Colleagues thought I had just been scolded by the boss. All eyes looked at me as if I had just experienced a hardship. Charles was too clingy. He was used to spamming messages, and now he was even worse. Knowing I was his online girlfriend, he was no longer reserved. Whenever he had free time, he would come downstairs, pretending to inspect, but in reality, just to gaze at me. Colleagues were frustrated. CEO Charles comes down so often lately, he must think we're playing games and slacking off. I felt worried and didn't dare to say anything, secretly texting him, "Don't come down anymore. If you do, I won't talk to you." He immediately sent a broken heart sticker. "Who told that intern to cling to my babe? He's younger than me. What if you fall for him?" I was both angry and amused. "You're overthinking. We're just colleagues." Charles didn't reply. Immediately after, he sent me dozens of pictures of his abs. I understood his intention. He was trying to tempt me again. I eagerly rubbed my hands. If he couldn't come down, I could go up. Yes,